All right, welcome into another day of our daily Devos in the Psalms. Pastor Rick here. We're jumping into Psalm 136 today. And so I got to find the beginning of it here. So here we go. We just finished up a little two-part on Psalm 135. Some really good stuff in there. So if you haven't checked it out, maybe hop back and check out those two sessions. I thought they were really, really good, really helpful, good reminders. And then today's is going to be no different. It's going to be great to remind ourselves of the Lord's faithful love that endures forever. It's really kind of one of the core things that always gives us hope in the midst of whatever kind of situation we might be in the middle of. So let's go ahead and we'll just kick it off here in verse 1. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His faithful love endures forever. This is a very repetitive psalm, so you'll see what I mean here as we go along. Give thanks to the Lord, the God of gods. His faithful love endures forever. And this would kind of be done in like a call and response type of situation. So like one person would read out, give thanks to the God of gods. And then the other group would say, his faithful love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords. His faithful love endures forever. He alone does great wonders. His faithful love endures forever. He made the heavens skillfully. His faithful love endures forever. So you kind of have this, obviously his faithful love endures forever is the core point that's trying to be driven home. And so just think about how critical it is that his faithful love endures forever. That there's nothing you can do to make his faithful love stop enduring. Especially because he has made the sacrifice necessary to cover our sins in sending Jesus to die for our sins, to rise from the dead. His faithful love endures forever. There's nothing you can do to outrun the grace and mercy that his love provides. He will arrest us. He will track us down. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. And then the other part of the psalm is talking about who God is and what he has done. And then anchoring it to his faithful love endures forever. So as you talk about, he alone does great wonders. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, the God of gods. Making sure that all of those truths about who he is anchored into the truth of his faithful love, anchored into the fact that he loves us and that his faithful love cannot be thwarted. It makes all of the other aspects of him that we are reminding ourselves of as we go through this psalm be all that much more meaningful and all that much more secure. So he alone does great wonders. His faithful love endures forever. He made the heavens skillfully. So as you look at the sky during the daytime, at nighttime, if you live in a place like I do where it's pretty dark out, man, when the stars are out in a pretty amazing way. And you think, wow, he skillfully made the heavens. Skillful use of his hands to make those heavens. It's astounding. It's unbelievable. It's mind-boggling. He spread the land on the waters. His faithful love endures forever. He made the great lights. His faithful love endures forever. The sun to rule the day. His faithful love endures forever. The moon and the stars to rule by night. His faithful love endures forever. He struck the firstborn of the Egyptians. His faithful love endures forever, and brought Israel out from among them. His faithful love endures forever. Again, celebrating, commemorating the historical things that God has done for them. and then repeating the beautiful truth that his faithful love endures forever. He brought Israel out from among them. His faithful love endures forever. With a strong hand and an outstretched arm, his faithful love endures forever. He divided the Red Sea and led Israel through. His faithful love endures forever, both of the times there. But hurled Pharaoh and his army into the Red Sea. His faithful love endures forever. So he divided the Red Sea. He led Israel through. He hurled Pharaoh and his army into the Red Sea. Then he led his people into the wilderness. His faithful love endures forever. Isn't that something that they should have been reminding themselves of through and through and through in their journey? Because it would have saved them 40 years of frittering their lives away. Because they kept running into challenges and then complaining that God wasn't good, questioning what God had in store for them. And I think this is a really good reminder for us that as we hit hard times, as we hit things and we think, oh my gosh, Lord, why did you bring me here? What are you doing to me? What is happening here? And he's like, man, if you just wait a minute, you'll see the answer come. Instead, you get all in a tizzy and you start throwing a tantrum. And you start freaking out. And you start questioning me. And you start wondering what in the world's going on. Now, I'm not saying God can't handle our questions. But boy, the longer that we go, the more we should be able to trust God with. Because we continue to remind ourselves that his faithful love endures forever. His faithful love endures forever. He led his people in the wilderness. And he struck down great kings. His faithful love endures forever, and slaughtered famous kings. His faithful love endures forever. Sihon, the king of the Amorites, and Og, king of Bashan. His faithful love endures forever, and gave their land as an inheritance to Israel, his servant. His faithful love endures forever. He remembered us in our humiliation. His faithful love endures forever. That's an interesting statement there. And he rescued us from our foes. So he remembered us in our humiliation and rescued us from our foes. So that'd be like a time of exile, essentially much like what happened in Egypt, that he remembered us in our humiliation. You know, they were slaves in Egypt, humiliated by that. And then they've also served some time in the time of the judges. They had a lot of time where they were basically in servitude to different countries, different kings, and God remembered them in their humiliation and rescued them from their foes. His faithful love endures forever. He gives food to every creature. His faithful love endures forever. And give thanks to the God of heaven. His faithful love endures forever. So it's a lot of thanks to be given. And a lot of reminding yourself what he's done and his incredible faithful love. Give thanks, rehearse what God has done, and celebrate and remember his faithful, faithful love that endures forever. You have got to be encouraged by that today. There's just if you are not encouraged right now, you are not strengthened right now, it's because you weren't listening. So push rewind and go back and listen to it again and just allow those words that we read through to minister to your heart. And I would challenge you even to get your journal out and journal some things that God has done in your life. Like maybe you haven't walked through the Red Sea, but maybe there's a time where God met you. God showed up in a big way in an area and he helped you through something. He taught you a lesson and you write about that and you remind yourself about that. And then you start to tell the devil about that and tell the devil about what an amazing God you serve and just stir your faith and your confidence in God. And remember that his faithful love endures forever. It cannot be thwarted. He is God. Nothing can thwart him. With that, God bless you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.